More moves are incoming for the New England Patriots as after releasing one player last night, more releases and cuts are to come as the Patriots try and increase their cap space for 2026 as the offseason officially gets underway. Welcome to Patriots Digest, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. I hope you're having a wonderful morning wherever you might be. Before we get into today's show, we are closing in on a milestone here on Patriots Digest. In fact, we are 64 subscribers away from 9,000. So if you have been watching the videos for a little bit, or if you're new to the channel, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button for daily Patriots coverage. It's first of all 100% free, and we're going to make sure you are in line and know everything that's happening with your favorite team. Speaking of things that have happened to your favorite team, well, guess what? The New England Patriots yesterday evening announced they released running back Antonio Gibson. Now, this is not really a surprise. It definitely stinks. Antonio was a very good player for the past 2 seasons and came to an unfortunate end with tearing his ACL. Given he is recovering from that injury, it just didn't make sense to keep him, especially with the money you were going to save by cutting him. Mark Daniels has that amount for us, saying the Patriots release running back Antonio Gibson. They save about $3.1 million off the cap. This was predictable, but I thought Gibson was solid and clearly the best kickoff returner they had last season. I'm not going to put it out of the notion the Patriots couldn't reunite with Gibson depending on how free agency goes, but it just didn't make sense to pay him the money that he was going to get for what in particular could be maybe not a full season from Gibson this year. Of course, it's still so sad to see him go, and I think it was a nice Instagram post he put onto the community saying, "Thank you to the organization for the fans, support, and the belief, but the journey continues and the best is yet to come." Obviously, we wish Antonio Gibson best wherever he does go. We're always going to have this photo of Antonio Gibson running down the sideline, getting that kickoff return in week 2 versus the Miami Dolphins, and who's right next to him? Well, that'd be Coach Mike Vrable. It was one of the defining moments early on in the season. Just the first win in that game, by the way, and a big piece of it was Antonio Gibson. That was a turning point in the game, a punt return by the Miami Dolphins. The prior play, he goes, 98 yards, whatever it was. So sad to see him go, but obviously it just doesn't make sense. Now, with all this being said, given Gibson was released, given the state and nature of this team, I think that we have to look into, okay, well, this is just the first movement of the offseason. What is next to come? So we're going to talk about 3 or 4 other cut candidates. I got 4 on my list that I'm going to go through that I believe should/will be cut by the New England Patriots by the time the new calendar officially gets underway. We'll start with first, and I think the most obvious one. Garrett Bradbury is the guy that I'm looking at, and it's specifically for one reason. Jared Wilson is the long-term solution at center, and it feels like now is the best time to do it. Now, he has no more guaranteed money. He carries a $1.2 million dead cap if released and would free up about $6.2 million if released or traded before June 1st via Spotrac. Obviously, the post-June 1st cuts can change stuff, but besides the point, to me, this just feels like an easy thing to do, and this is no shade to Garrett Bradbury. I'm not sitting here saying, yeah, I mean, Bradbury stunk. Why would they keep? No, that's not the way that I look at this. Well, I am going to say that, in my opinion, the best way to help out Will Campbell, I'm not going to say fix because he's a good player, he'll be fine, but the best way to help out Will Campbell is to get somebody on his side of the line that can maybe give him a little extra teaching or a little extra help. Putting 2 rookies or 2 second years on the same side of the line hurts, and having maybe at least a guard next to Will Campbell that could help him out, to me, just makes the most sense. I, again, think Garrett Bradbury is a good center. I'm not going to try and throw shit on him. He did, fine, even some good games. But Jared Wilson is the solution at center for the next 3 seasons. Let's just start it now. Let's move him there. It opens up a world of opportunities in free agency to help your offensive line grow even better. Obviously, there are questions about Morgan Moses and how long he is going to play for. So, to me, this is probably a pretty easy one. The next one, maybe not so easy. That's Stefon Diggs. And we're going to hear a lot of reports about Stefon Diggs over the next coming weeks. He pleaded not guilty to his case. That is, I'm not going to say a part of this release factor. I didn't really even take it into consideration. The simple fact is this: the Patriots did sign him to a 3-year contract, and last year he got over 1,000 yards for the first time in forever in a New England Patriots uniform, and was top 10 in receptions in the NFL, top 10 in receiving touchdowns in the NFL, but yet, it just isn't enough for a guy who's going to be, 31, 32 next year? 33 even. I had that number wrong. So Mark Daniels kind of has the report that Diggs will turn 33 next season and is scheduled for a $26.5 million cap hit. Diggs is also being accused of strangling his private chef. He returns to court for a hearing on April 1st, and the Patriots would save $16.8 million by releasing the veteran while being hit with a $9.7 million dead cap hit. Again, to me, to take out the files against him, the entire lawsuit, saving $16.8 million for a guy who is 33 years old next season, and as much as I loved to see him this past year and wanted him out there, I think there are more dynamic wide receivers on the free agent market that you could use that money to go out and get. That's just the simple fact of this. Now, am I going to be upset if they keep Stefon Diggs? Absolutely not. I think I would actually be happy, especially if that trial goes his way and he can stay in there. I'm trying not to make any comment about it. It's his business, and if he's ready to play, great. If he's not, then that makes the decision even easier for the Patriots. But to me, I would like to have Stefon Diggs back, but I also I think it might be in the best interest of the Patriots in their future to let him go at this point. This was a 3-year deal that was kind of very fluffed up to be more of a 1-year deal that they could easily get out of here this season. $16.8 million is a lot of money you could save when there are a lot of good free agents on the open market. The next guy I'm going to talk about and a potential cut candidate, he's also a guy who is facing criminal charges, funny enough. The Patriots had 2 guys get these criminal charges within a week of each other, but it's Christian Barmore, and he is a very good defensive tackle, and I think really showed out in the playoffs, but the interior defensive line is better than Barmore to me. And last year, with just 29 tackles and 2 sacks, it wasn't getting the job done. Was it good? Yes. Was it great? No. And the money, for me, it's just not in the right interest to keep him. I think, again, the defensive interior line can be helped. And listen, these percentiles are just not exactly great. 13th percentile in sacks, 19th percentile in solo tackles, 22nd percentile in tackles. It's hard to rate these guys, especially on the defensive line, but if you ask me, it doesn't make sense to carry him with some money that you're going to save, about $11.5 million, I believe is the number. And then the final guy that I want to talk about here on today's show that I believe is a potential cut candidate is Anthony Jennings. Now, I leave him last for one simple fact. He was talked about time and time again during 53-man roster cutdowns as a potential cut candidate, as a guy the Patriots are looking to trade. Him and Kyle Duggar were put on the trading block, and ultimately, Duggar got moved around the trade deadline, and Jennings stayed put. And it really didn't matter much for a while. And then the postseason came along, and Harold Landry got injured, and Jennings came in, and he performed. He performed very well. It was a very good postseason for Anthony Jennings. So I put him last for the simple fact that recency bias can help him here. Recency bias can kind of put him in a position where the Patriots believe, hey, maybe this guy can come out here and compete again in 2025, or rather 2026. I think that there is a thought behind that, but I would not be surprised if they do cut him. Now, all of this kind of put into a kind of hole here. There's a savings number coming out from all of these. So with Stefon Diggs, you're getting about $16.8 million. For Christian Barmore, if it is a post-June 1st cut, you're going to get $11.5 million. Garrett Bradbury, I said 6.2. In all actuality, though, it's only going to be about 5.7. And then Anthony Jennings is going to be about $3.8 million. So all in all, you're saving upwards of $30 million on these guys alone. So to me, it stinks to cut some of these guys, but it's the right choice. Now, of course, I think the biggest question on there, and the guy that people are going to, I think, have differentiating opinions on, is Stefon Diggs, because he competed this year. He performed well, and you could argue that there aren't receivers that are worth $16.8 million that can do what he did this past year, along with already having the connection with Drake Maye. And I fully understand that, and so I asked the question to you, would you cut Stefon Diggs to save the $16.8 million? If you are cutting him, then I want you to type C for cut in the comment section. If you're keeping Stefon Diggs, then I want you to type K for keep. Would you cut Stefon Diggs, or would you keep him and saving that $16.8 million not important to you? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. All right, boys and girls, I guess. We appreciate you watching, and let me know what you think about these cut candidates. For now, though, guys, we appreciate you. We'll see you next time here on the show. Peace out.